What's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with the Boston Clinic. Just did the McGregor video, man. And if you guys wondering, the guy on my shirt is my homie Joseph Landeros, professional boxer at 16. Um, you know, he doing his thing. I'm gonna link his Facebook to the description. He always going live. Got a good relationship with the WBC, the youth division. Got a lot of knockouts. I think every fight he won by knockout so far. So he gonna try to be up there. He's gonna be up there with Haney and Shakir Stevenson and David Benavidez, who was another guy that turned pro in Mexico at 16, the legal age. So I'm gonna link his profile, his Facebook in the description. Just click the description. The link will be right there. Uh, Good guy, man. Send me pictures and we talk boxing most of the time. And I would just wish everything great for him in the future, man. Real stand up type of guy, and good stuff on his page as well. Shout out to Master Boxing as well, Eric Bradley. He sent them some shirts too. Good job. But we here, and boxing is proved last year that it's not behind the UFC. The UFC is not gonna gun it down. UFC is fading and boxing is rising and boxing is not dying. In 2017 proved that boxing is about to come back and be a forefront of the sports world once again. And yeah, everything has its hiccups, man. And I see boxing, coming to prominence once again. The promoters are starting to work together. And 2018 is another consecutive year that looked like it could top 2017. That seemed to be the best year in boxing we had in quite some time. And the way the first quarter of boxing is starting off this year is looking like the GOAT. I mean, you got Ebanks and Groves, Lipinets and Garcia, which I think is a better fight than most people getting credit for. Rios, Garcia, Peterson, Spence, Easter Jr., Fortuna, Hugo Centennial Jr. versus Jamal Charlo potentially. Jared Swift Hurd versus Arizona Lara. Sound like Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder is agreed upon. Keith Thurman and Vargas is about to be agreed upon. So it's a lot of good fights coming up in that first quarter. And if that's any indication, also Badu Jack and Adonis Stevenson, the way it's paid for them to fight, the way that it's shaping up, it's looking like it's going to be another excellent year, even better than last year. Canelo and Triple G is another one. Andrade versus Sergey Zinchenko is another one. So we getting some epic fights already. Some potential. Oh, Joshua and Parker is another one. I keep running them off. You might get Big Daddy Lucas Brown versus Dylan White. Two bums, but it's a solid fight in my opinion. So you're getting a lot of excellent fights early on, and then potentially you can get the Thurman and the Spence and the Crawford and the Pacquiao. You got Crawford and Horn that's in the first quarter as well. I mean, you got a lot of good fights, and people was trying to say, "Oh, boxing is dead," and you got that from a lot of other people that wasn't entrenched in the boxing game. Now that boxing is oozing down to ESPN, it's oozing back down to Fox with Santa Cruz and Adam Mars did a separate co-feature bout that Fox scooped up. I mean, the sky's the limit. You got fight now that Pacquiao with Mayweather and Cotto and Marquez and all those guys are starting to fade away. Now guys are starting to compete. In a long time, people was hoping and holding out for hope that they can get a Mayweather fight. So they was letting that or Pacquiao fight or Cotto fight. They was letting that dictate their career. They were like, okay, you could take this fight versus this guy. We could take the easy route and see if Floyd to give you a lottery shot, or Pacquiao give you a lottery shot, or Cotto give you a lottery shot, or Marquez give you a lottery shot. And people was holding hope. And now that those guys are removed from that, now the game's really commenced. Now you seeing all these big fights. Now you seeing just the year just starting to flow on, big fight after big fight, and it's beautiful, man. And shout out to Boxing for the article they did on, to the haters saying that boxing was dead. It's clearly not dead, and it's clearly head and shoulders above the UFC. The UFC has, no disrespect, women headlining their card to sell. Boxing don't need that. And yes, the boxing is still in a little bit of thunder UFC, like going to regular TV a little bit, yeah, doing big things. Showtime adding extra dates, so HBO gonna want to add some extra dates. Top Rank got like 25 dates with ESPN. Golden Boy got some dates with ESPN. So it's doing good things, and we just need them to start working together. I think boxing got to a point where the NFL is at now, thinking that okay, we can create pay per view and make these fools pay for this, and they're gonna pay for it because our product is that good. But after a while, it alienated a lot of fans, and that's the NFL doing right now. Our product's so good, we can overcome CTE. We can overcome, the disrespecting of the flag or the kneeling or the racial implications that we have in the NFL. We can overcome that. They got big headed. They got arrogant, and the arrogance is going to be what cripples the NFL. And that's kind of what crippled boxing. Oh, we ain't got to put on the best fight. They're gonna buy the pay per view anyway. That wasn't true. And boxing's arrogance towards that was his downfall, and now it's starting to build up. And hopefully, we'll never have to go back that same route of arrogance. That once the sport gets back on top or close to back on top, which is where it's trending to be, we'll be all good, and we don't have to go through that no more. Pay per view is not essential. It's not something that we need in the sport of boxing, to be honest, unless the fight is just that massive where it's gonna hit 2 million buys. A million buys, it ain't enough. It ain't enough. I know that's a profit. That's where you really profit at. You need 1.5, 2 million. For sure pay per view. Unless it's a million for sure, it shouldn't be on pay per view. And a lot of people got optimistic and hopes for certain pay per view ratings that people pull that is not really realistic in my opinion. But boxing is definitely not dead. And if it was trending on its deathbed, it's definitely walking around. It's past the rehabilitation. Now it's coming back. It's ready to, it's ready to almost get done with training, and it's ready to come back and take on all comers at the end of this year if it trends the right way, and the new stars take over. And part of the issue was, a lot of people want those brawls, but now you're starting to get fighting guys. They don't have nothing to lose no more. You had Pacquiao turn safety first, Floyd turned safety first. A lot of the top guys with safety first boxers not really going for the knockouts, but you don't have that no more. You got guys like Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford that ain't scared to, and Thurman scared to go out on their shield, and they ain't scared to go for a knockout. Keith kind of become a little scary, but he ain't gonna have no choice when he goes against those dogs and Crawford and Spence potentially. Now you starting to get guys like Jamal, the Charlo twins who get knockouts. You got starting to get talents like Andrade to jump back in there. You're starting to get two big Mexican stars at 168 pounds that's on the collision course in Benavidez and Gilberto Ramirez. And then you got the European invasion at 175, but you got the Americans that's still there as well, and Marcus Brown that's trying to hold it down. You go up cruiserweight is banging, but nobody care about cruiserweight, but it's bang. Heavyweight is starting to come back. Wilder and Joshua, that fight is always going to be potentially talked about. That's one of the biggest hype fights in boxing. And you can go down to the small guys. Lomachenko, Garcia, people starting to want to see that. Russell, Selby, Frampton, Rigon Dial still down there. Unuyua, you got Strada, Soric, Karadas. I mean, it's a lot of big fights in boxing, and a lot of these guys are starting to mix it up now. So of course, the notion of boxing is dead is definitely that's dead. Boxing is back, prominent, back on all tools, ready to come back for a spot, and being a major sport in America as well. It's already a major sport around the world. It's time for it to get a spot back in America. We gone.